Jesse Bonnecue was the main man behind the school's starting.
It all started when Millbrook was forced into centralization, the Millbrook School. And a group of us all had kids about to go into the public system. So we all sat around and said, why don't we start a school? A group of us that started had all children climbing out of kindergarten and thinking about education. There was a little bit of complaint early on that we shouldn't start a school. We charged on and feared not. I started out with a one-room country school, one teacher in 7 grades, so it didn't take much to impress me. We were down at the Red Pheasant for a while, then we moved into here. Had 2 teachers and eventually got more and more and more, and we grew quite rapidly. But it worked out extremely well because we could have the headmaster over in the nice house in back. We did have boarders here for a little while. Happily, we got rid of that.
The place was very different. There was no upper gym, lower gym. There was no science center. There was no dining hall. It was a much smaller place.
We had a mission that we thought was good. I don't know where we stole it or did we create it, I can't remember.
Dutchess Day School provides an environment in which kids are challenged constantly, where we have the flexibility and the creativity to be able to look at what kids need in the world to succeed and grow up and lay a groundwork that is both exciting and makes them be lifelong learners.
It has attracted a certain type of person, a person who wants traditional education, but also wants some progressive thinking within the framework of traditional education.
What makes a school happen is the faculty. They are its lifeblood.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, these are gorgeous shots.
And this school has experienced teachers, which means that they know what they're doing. They can move beyond the rote to be creative, engaging, to make sure that hands-on is the way children are learning. And they are also amazingly dedicated.
And they're brilliant, and they're wonderful, and they're excited, and they love the students, and they love their material. And I'm energized by that, always.
Find that for me and then we'll talk.
By our very profession, we are here to shape lives. The greatest structure for doing that is looking at the whole child and looking for every strength, every spark of curiosity, because it's not always conventional.
But really seeing that we're doing projects that relate to history, that relate to math, that relate to science, and with that also trying to bring some of those actual lessons into the classroom.
Not only does everybody do science and everybody do math and history, nobody lets you out of that if you think you can't do it. You know, everybody's in the play. Everybody's on a sports team. Everybody can be and often is in a music group or a chorus.
I feel that we have a very well-rounded school, whether it's the arts and the music, which is superb, the academics, which are superb, and the athletics. And we teach the whole child in that way.
The children get way beyond just a normal book learning. They learn how to get along in the world with each other. A community set up where children have to rely on each other and be part of the whole group.
The older children take such a sense of a nurturing relationship with the younger children at school. For example, Juliet walking down the big hall all the way to kindergarten by herself for the first time. I actually remember one of the 8th graders standing by the door and saying, I'll take her with me, and how she sort of threw back her shoulders and carried her head up and walked down with that 8th grader. And I thought that's quite incredible.
The school itself really fosters that. There's a very strong sense of community here. That's one of the first things I think about when I think about the school.
Lean on me.
Just be in a community and be able to just unapologetically pursue, guitar, for instance, and just not know it's weird. Dutchess Day School always allowed me to pursue my passion without second guessing myself. I found now as a professional guitarist that being a female in this field is rare. And growing up, I never knew it was rare, which is amazing.
A little struggling for a while. It's had its up and downs.
We were always concerned about two things. One, the size of the school, and one, the quality of the board and faculty, which would lend credence to the school as it sought to attract students.
We almost collapsed at one point. And Dad said, you can't do that. You gotta start something, you gotta stay with it.
There were 65 students at that point, and the mandate I was given by the Board of Trustees was to grow the school, because 65 was absurdly small.
Financially, it was the roughest time, and we finally, as I say, my dad stepped in and did a lot to help us out, and the Thorne family was very helpful.
The basement was a playground in the wintertime, but that was tough for everybody to not have any facility at all.
Oakley Thorne, who came up to me, he said he'd like to make a contribution to the school, and he thought a gym would be a great idea.
When the old gym was built, which gave them gave the students an indoor facility, and that was a great boon.
Reaching out with buses was the thing that increased the enrollment more than anything else.
The one thing that's key to the school's success?
I think it's its teaching and its philosophy. By excellent teachers and excellent super people working, the school expanded and began to be accepted.
That's a huge part of the Enlightenment.
It's an expansion of horizons and possibilities, but it's also a recognition of an academic rigor and intellectual discipline that you might not have had you not gone to a place like DDS.
You want terrific academics, you want the right classroom environment, you want the teacher attention and the sort of the overarching focus on bringing out the best in a student, knowing that all the students, every student is different.
Dutchess Day School taught me to love learning, like not to love what you've learned, but to love the process. And I think that's something that carries over no matter what you do. To be hungry for more knowledge, I think that's a huge thing to give kids.
We're going to keep doing this more and more.
And what makes all the difference in a school is nothing except the relationship of each teacher with each child. My goal was to have a school full of Socrateses, and children on logs.
The last 30 years has been such fantastic changes in our whole lifestyle that you have to wonder, will we still remember how we started out? So this is overwhelming for that sort of thing, but just think of what's happened in the last couple of decades. It's mind-boggling.
We're mindful of technology and how important it is to this age group. For example, our generation grew up not having technology. This generation has grown up not knowing anything but technology. So we are trying to provide a really healthy balance between the academics and traditional methods of learning.
Blast off!
We're really focusing on the curiosity of young children so they understand how to go about challenges in the future. We do a lot of engineering challenges, and it's not always easy.
We focus not just on teaching them knowledge and content, but we also focus on developing fundamental skills.
You know what? Let's just
A sense of curiosity, a sense of questioning why, thinking very deeply about things.
Probably the high point of the whole school's existence is happening right now, with a nice, large, good-sized student body, great teachers, and great support from the community.
It was a challenge, and as you can see looking out the window, it worked.
I think probably many kids look back on Dutchess as being the foundation of their intellectual life.
This isn't just a nice little country school anymore, this is a real school. And that we have the facilities to make it a real school, and we can compete with any school in the catchment area.
I enjoyed being part of it, and I think it's one of the great things that I've been any part of. It's always nice to be part of something that is successful. So that's it. All right. That's all we know.